Hey friends, Lucian here with the Bullish Bears team, making the watch list video for tomorrow, Friday, August 8th. I hope you've been watching our watch list videos as well as paying attention to our watch list lately, because they're just really, they're just on the money. These stocks that hold their highs. Again, there's no guarantee they're going to break out the next day, but a lot of them are breaking out. They're great to scalp, and then also, again, it's important to learn shorting as well, so you can play both sides of the fence. A lot of these stocks they'll make a move up, they'll get a quick pop, and then they'll have a reversal. So sometimes they'll pop at first and then a reversal, or sometimes there'll be a reversal and then at some point there'll be a pop. So it's just very important to be able to just really learn and practice to basically trade stocks both ways. Shorting is not complicated. It's just the opposite of buying. Holding stocks overnight, shorting them, yeah, that could be potentially risky. But if you're day trading them just like you would longing a stock, shorting on a reversal is just very simple. So just like, if you're going to buy a stock right away and you want to get your entry, if you were to buy at the ask, you immediately get filled. If you were to sell on the bid, you immediately get filled. That's saying the stock's not going parabolic either way. So ideally, when you're longing a stock, if you were to buy the ask right away, you get immediately filled. If you were to have a position and you sell the bid right away, you get filled. Obviously, you want to try and get better pricing with limit order, stuff like that. I'm just talking basically kind of in theory of how things work. With shorting, again, I'm going to keep kind of stressing this in the videos. It's just the opposite. If you wanted to short something right away and you sold the bid, you immediately get in your position, okay? Once you own that position and you have those shares, or you're basically shorted that stock, if you want to cover that position, buy the ask. So immediately, if you short sell the bid, you buy the ask to cover. It's that simple. Obviously, you want to try and get better deals. So a lot of people will try to short on the ask, or they'll do limit orders on the way up. Shorting on the ask would be like obviously a little bit higher. So you want the stock to pop back up, get a better deal. And then, if you were to, again, sell at the ask, if you bought at the ask, it immediately covers your position. If you bought at the bid, it's ideally trying to get a better deal. So it's just practicing just that. That's how it is with shorting and day trading. It's just the opposite of when you're longing a stock. Again, a lot of people will do limit orders to get in a position to buy at a specific price. That's why it's super important to look at time and sales over here, which is super important to watch, and also level 2, and see where people are putting their bids and their asks at. And that would give you a guide if you want to put a limit order into, whether you're purchasing on a pullback or on a breakout, or if you're shorting at a top of something. It's really not that hard to do. It's just practice. That's why it's so important to practice getting in and out of your trades, and just open a Thinkorswim account and get their virtual account and just practice buying at the ask, selling at the bid, selling at the bid, buying at the ask, and just practice over and over and over until you get comfortable. I personally use hotkeys a lot. I'm actually not the greatest with limit orders. I'm so familiar with doing hotkeys of getting in and out of positions. If there's a specific entry I like to get in at, then I'll put in a limit order. But I'm just so used to doing it, and I'm just very comfortable with shorting. Again, myself, I'm actually practicing with my longing skills because I'm so used to shorting all the time. But again, it's all a matter of preference. So I just want to kind of teach you guys as I'm making these videos, just helping you to get more comfortable with shorting, because it's not as scary as people think. So that being said, I kind of created the watch list again already. I'm trying to start saving some time on these videos for you guys to not make it so crazy. So I kind of made the watch list ahead of time. I'll show you what I'm looking at. Excuse me, go from there. But again, these plays, we're hitting these plays. I mean, I was watching a few right on my watch list today. I did really good with GoPro in the morning, but some of the ones on my watch list had even much bigger moves. I'm calling them out in our trade room. So make sure you join our trade room over on Skype, over on our website, if you haven't already, to kind of watch things. If you look right over here, here's our trade room over here. So make sure you come and join us, because I call this stuff out in our trade room every day. Also, I've been kind of doing a little test on things on some of the alerts. So I'm sending out my active alerts. So usually I'm going to try and stay committed with this, but I set alerts for everything for myself. So when I create the watch list, I'm putting in the alerts here as when I'm looking for something to break These are not buy alerts. These are not telling you to buy something. They're telling you to watch at these levels for key breakouts. So when I do the watch list, I'm kind of setting the alerts with it. So when I send the watch list at night, again, make sure you subscribe already if you haven't over on our website to our watch list. You'll get the watch list at night with these alerts. Also, I send the watch list for options as well. But look at these alerts ahead of time with the stocks that are on the watch list for the key breakout area. So, just wanted to make sure you keep an eye on that. And these can trigger at any point during the day tomorrow, or none of them may trigger at all. But I've been finding a lot of these have been breaking out a lot. So first one today, which was on our watch list last night, was NLNK. And sure enough, this bad boy, it took a while, but look what happened. You'll see that I had actually I had the breakout for over here. I was looking for the breakout above the 822, and look what happened today. It kind of look down over here on the 5 minutes, easier. You'll see it did pre-market, kind of went up, and then just kind of went all the way down, and then watch this 13 EMA. It's super important. And then it kind of hovered, went up a little bit, and then sure enough, as it broke the high of day over here of 1074, you can see it just went up. Obviously, be careful as far as once it gets super extended over from the 13 EMA, it pulls back. So you could have gotten in at the break of this high of day over here, rode it up for a nice profit, waited for it to pull back, and then it kind of formed this kind of like cup pattern. And then once it broke the high of day again, you could have gotten in here and kind of rode and was bull flagging. And then be careful towards the end of the day. Obviously, it's super far away from the 13. Make sure you take your profits and come back down. Always be careful buying stocks when they're extended away from the 13 EMA. Like this, like right here, you don't want to buy in this area. You don't want to buy over here. You want to be careful really in here until it pulls back, and then especially up in these areas. But this 13 EMA is a really great guide. You can ride the 13 EMA, and obviously when it overextends, take your profits and then find re-entries when it gets closer to the 13 EMA, if that makes sense. So NLNK, I'm going to put it on the watch list because it's going to do one of two things tomorrow. It's either going to go up or it's going to come really tumbling down. This thing at some point, whether it's tomorrow or the next day, it's going to want to give back a lot of these gains. So if it does, so if it goes up and it breaks 1448 tomorrow, which is a psychological at a $50 amount, be careful. If it breaks 1450, this thing could run up. But if it doesn't, actually, let me see right here. I guess that's a gap that's been filled. If it doesn't break that 1450 and it falls, this thing can go right back down to this, to start filling this gap down easily. So this could be a really volatile mover tomorrow. So it's absolutely one to watch. So NLNK is definitely a watcher. FRTA. Actually, let me go back over here because I have one for BLDP. I'm trying to find, I have 6 specific ones that I'm watching, but I want to see if one is better than the other. I might replace that one with NLNK because it's the volatility. I'll show you right here. This is what I do. I kind of take my watch list and I put them on 6 that I'm really watching, and then I kind of watch ones in the morning that I like as well with trade ideas. I might go back to one with the 9 setup screen, but just because I like watching certain ones or several of them. But anyways, let me go back up to FRTA. FRTA, I like this one here. It's been in a downtrend. It's forming this triangle pattern here. You'll see down here lower highs, but it looks like it might be breaking potentially. It did today, and then it kind of faded. But if it does go back above that 416 marker, then this thing could potentially run and break a pattern. So you'll see it's like this kind of this triangle being formed here. This could fade. If this falls tomorrow, it's just going to keep fading down. It is bearish, but this thing, if it does break out above that 416 level, that could potentially run. So FRTA, put on the watch list. CDXC. This one right here, I have this on the watch list. Held its highs in the day. It's flagging here, forming this nice wedge. I want to see it break, obviously, the high of day here today at 395. Then I'm watching right here at the 419. I'm actually going to move this alert up a little bit just because I want to get, obviously, if it breaks 393, that's potentially where you'd want to maybe get in. But I want to put this alert up around 417 maybe. That way, if it breaks the whole dollar amount, up here is going to be big resistance. I want to see it break there. So ideally, I'm more worried about it breaking the 419. So if this breaks $4, be careful at 419. Watch it around maybe 417 area, and then if it breaks 419, that thing could potentially fly. So it's one to keep an eye on. BCRX, this one right here is a inverse head and shoulders, left shoulders, head, right shoulder, right at the neckline. This neckline is no coincidence right at that 200 SMA, which is this black line right here. I have an alert above it, so, or right around it. So if this breaks, this thing could fly. The 200 SMA, it's kind of a gauge right around that 610 marker, I don't even know what that is, 608. So I'd watch it. It's either going to fail and fall back down, then obviously maybe support, you might say around this 550 range. But if it breaks above there, this thing could fly and go on up or pull back. So this is one, again, inverse head and shoulders, left shoulders, head, right shoulder, neckline. See it break above. If it breaks down, then obviously look at 550 and then $5 range as areas of support. ENPH. This is another one that is, I don't know what you call this, maybe a U pattern here. You want to see it break above this 132 marker. So you want to see it break the high of day here. Then be careful again of 150 psychological areas of support and resistance, whole and half dollar amounts. So if it breaks that 130, then be careful at 150. And then if it breaks 150, that thing could potentially run up to $2. But those are the areas that you want to look for. AVEO, this one right here is closed right around that $4 mark, $3.99. You want to see it break $4, but then ideally you want to see it break $4.23 if it's going to continue up. So that's why I put an alert right around $4.23, see if it breaks up. A lot of times, remember, when stock breaks, usually a lot of times it wants to come back and retest that area before it goes up. So if a stock breaks above a resistance area, it may continue to run, or it might pull back really quick. If it pulls back to this area, now that resistance becomes support, and if it fails, then it's going to break down. But if it continues up, you know, it's just, you want to see if it potentially does a confirmation. So I just put the alert there for 423. MVIS, another one, kind of forming, you can kind of, another one, you can kind of just, this base, this kind of base here, you can say it's kind of like the crazy inverse head and shoulders, like a left shoulder, a head, a right shoulder. So you'll see left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So this, you got to look at these patterns. Sometimes they're not as obvious, and kind of look at them. But either way, it doesn't matter, because this right here, that 294, is the huge resistance area. So you want to see it go up and break that area if it's going to continue further. If not, then you want to look at potential support right down here in this 250 area. So see it break again close to $3, psychological resistance point. And then if it fails, again, $half amount, and you'll see these consolidation areas as potential supports. This is a potential inverse head and shoulders right here with the neckline. GNC, this one right here. This one's, you know, closing right above the 200 SMA. I have an alert. You know, if it breaks the high of day here today at 916, if this goes, obviously be careful in the 950 range, you know, and then also around $10, whole and half dollar amounts. But if it breaks 916, you know, this one could potentially be turning around, but just look at those areas of support and resistance. GLDD, this one, I don't know what you want to call this, double bottom potentially. Just a lot of craziness here. But if it breaks this 450 marker, I put an alert around this 445. If it can break above 450, then it might continue to run up. You know, look at some of these areas here as well. But obviously, you know, in the $5 range, you know, could potentially run. If not, it's going to fail at 450, and then you're going to want to see it come down, you know, in these areas down over here. You know, kind of get a gauge. You know, look at previous areas. AGEN, this one right here, I've been looking at this, but I already did this. So sometimes I got to like readjust my eyes. You want to look at this area right where that red 50 SMA is. You'll see it's closing right near there. If it can go and break above that, then if it could break that 410-ish area, then 450, which is the previous left shoulder of this head and shoulders, so kind of left shoulder, head, right shoulder, if it can go and break above it. So you'll see it's kind of like right now it's at the base of that head and shoulders. So left shoulder, head, right shoulder, here was a base, it faded. Let me just make a color-coded mark here on this. You're going to want to see it's right. You want to see it break above. If it breaks above, then it might go up to the right shoulder. At the right shoulder, it's either going to fail again or it might continue up. But obviously, you want to see it break. That's why I put 408 right above, right around that 50 SMA to see if it's going to go and break that pattern. ARWR. This one's in the gap already right up here, which gets very volatile. It is bull flagging, but it may keep pulling back and going on. This might be a good swing trade. Be careful, it's in the gap, but it might want to go up to that 436 at some point to fill the gap, but it might have pullbacks along the way, as you can see, going on the way up. So when things are in the gap, it gets very volatile, especially around a $0.50 amount, getting close to 350. See if it breaks 350 and continues upward. This one could go and fill right away, or it could just keep going pretty slow. HOS, this one's been nice here. You can kind of see this base kind of forming upwards here like a triangle with a top right here, so you can see higher lows. You'll see it's kind of formed a top right here, looking for it to break out around 320. If this can break around that 320-ish mark, this might be a nice breakout. This is a textbook one. Higher lows, kind of forming a top, an ascending triangle here after a downtrend. See this go and break up, then obviously be careful around, I would even look more at the $4 mark before even 422, just because whole and $0.50 amounts, I like putting something there just to kind of see, and there's some resistance there. So keep an eye out around that $4 area. But I really like HOS. CROX, another one, getting close. This like U-shaped pattern here might turn into a cup and handle. You want to see it break 370 and stay above 370. Or it's a potential, 970. If not, if it doesn't break 970, watch areas of 950, and then also this $9 area would be support, that 13 EMA. BRS, this one right here, it's just been kind of making higher lows. It's going up. This is kind of still going up. Look at this gap in this area. I don't know when or if it's going to fill it, but, it's one to keep an eye on. It might just be a slow mover on the way up. You want to see it break 961 and then see it potentially continue from there. Or if it fades, obviously look at these areas of support, right around $9. See it break 950. If not, look down to $9. But again, good shorts. These are things that can move either way. If it doesn't break 960, you can short it down and watch these whole and $0.50 amounts for support and resistance. BLDP, 348. It's at its yearly high, super close to it. You want to see it break. See if it's going to break above that 348 and continue further. If not, then obviously whole and $0.50 amounts. I'd look down right on here, for resistance. See it break 348. If not, see if it's going to fall. Again, there's some other areas here, but you can call this a nice U bottom or whatever you want to call it. This U-shaped pattern that's forming. NEO. This one is at its yearly highs. You want to see it break this 1123 marker. If not, watch it fall. I think let me remove this one here. If it doesn't break 1123, see if it's going to fall. Obviously, what happens around $11, but if not, $10.50, $10 as well. Those could be good areas. This could be a nice potential short since it is overextended. So it's definitely one to watch. And RDNT, Another one at yearly highs might be bull flagging to make a continuation up. You can see bull flag, kind of bull flag, might be going up, might continue. You want to see it break 1120. If not, watch if it's going to fail, right down to that $10 marker. That could be a potential move there as well. So keep an eye on that. But that's how you play stocks both ways. It's just, that's why it's great to learn shorting by really practicing, because then you could play stocks either way and you're not worried whether they're going to go up or down. So I'm setting these alerts right now for like bullish plays, but if they go and they reverse, they're great shorts. So again, if you were to buy a stock right away and long it, buy the ask, you get in. Sell the bid, you get out. Obviously, you want to get deals. You can sell at the ask or buy at the bid, stuff like that. But I'm just telling you very simply how to get in and out. If you want to short, selling the bid right away gets you into the position, as long as, again, the stock doesn't go parabolic or whatever. But in theory, selling the bid gets you in, and then buying the ask gets you out. And if you can get deals along the way with limit orders or buying the bid to get a deal, then obviously try doing it. But that's really it. So that's what I'm looking for with support and resistance, and ideally finding the best setups, whether they're long or short, are key. And a lot of stocks get overextended or at yearly highs and they pull back and they're really nice shorts. So that's why you don't want to be biased one way or the other. I personally am more of a short bias trader, but I'm practicing more with my longing as well, so I can just ideally play stocks both ways. And that's really the importance of it. Again, if you haven't liked our fan page yet, make sure you like us over on Facebook. We are the Bullish Bears. Like our fan page, follow us over here. We post our watch list, our trade ideas watch list over there every morning. So it's important to like us and follow us so that way you get the notification. As well as, again, make sure you subscribe to our daily watch list over here on our website and join our trade room. Our trade room, again, it's at least $100 value. If you look at trade rooms elsewhere, they're at minimum $100 a month, many of them $150 or more, and we're providing ours for free to our community. We have over 500 community members in there, which is just crazy. It's just growing rapidly, and we post a lot of great content, a lot of good dialogue in there every morning. As well as we have a couple $1,000s worth of trading courses over here that you can take and really help yourself out. As well as, like I had mentioned earlier, we do post trade ideas every day. We do offer the community a 15% discount if you purchase from us. The links are below in this video, or you can check them out on our website. Again, 15% community discount. But until if you're on a budget, use, our pre-market watch list. But when you can afford it, we recommend Trade Ideas because it's got live scanning. It's incredible. But as of right now, we're saving you $100 a month by posting that pre-market watch list every day, as well as our nightly watch list videos. So we're making these videos. We're providing the watch list. These stocks are moving. We're providing you the pre-market watch list in the morning, as well as Benzinga news, the live news. We post that as well. So we're giving a lot. We're saving you, at least a couple $100 a month in tools, all of our members, as well as a free trade room that's at least $100 a month and a couple $1,000s worth of courses. So we provide all of that stuff for free to our community. And I say this all because Tim, Dan, and myself, again, we say this in all of our videos, but we have a vision of giving back and a passion to really helping people. And we ideally don't want to charge membership fees down the road. Again, we can't promise that we won't do that. But we are a contribution-based community right now. So ideally, we'd love to stay contribution-based. And that basically means if we're just looking for every community member to just give us a little bit of money. If everybody gives a little bit, then it prevents us from having to charge a lot. So, in theory, we have, monthly options for as low as $10, $25, $50, $100 a month. You can choose what you'd like to give back. But, you could take the education for free that we're offering or decide to give back. But the more people that do donate to us monthly, the less likely that we will charge down the road membership fees. So, if you can pay 10 or 25 bucks, that's a lot less than $100 or $150 a month. So again, there's no promises. We would like to stay this route. Ideally, we're looking for sponsors to pay us to give you the education, but that's going to take a lot of growth and obviously money split 3 ways between Tim, Dan, and myself. So it takes a lot of donations to really help us to fulfill that mission. So if you'd like to donate, we greatly appreciate it. The links are below down over here. Again, here's the monthly option, or you can do one-time donations. And last but not least, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel up here, and make sure you click on the notification tab. This is very important, so that way it'll let you know whenever we post videos. So make sure you subscribe, the red subscribe button, and also click notification over here. As well as make sure you watch our videos, like them, comment on them, share them. We try to do our best to be very interactive. So hopefully this video helped you guys, and happy trading tomorrow. Enjoy.